Okay, guys, welcome to game week 9 of the Fantasy Chancer brought to you on the Upper Tier podcast. Big shout out to Niall, Darren, the guys keeping everything going. It's been amazing content during the international football. The boys have done what they could with the time and done a lot of cool shows on Ireland and different bits and pieces and news shows. So fair play to the boys for keeping the ball rolling. It seems like so long since we've had Premier League football, but we are back this weekend. So I'm just going to go through my team now. And I've got a couple of issues in my team this week, which I'll go through, but nonetheless, we're going to have to go with it anyway. So in goals, I've went with Dean Henderson, Leicester away. Obviously, Leicester in dire need of a win this weekend. So they'll be putting all their eggs in that basket, and I think it's going to be a tough game. I think Leicester are capable of scoring goals, and Forest are capable, more than capable, as we've already seen, of conceding. So it's going to be a very important game for Nottingham Forest to keep tight at the back. I reckon if Forest were to let in an early goal, then the floodgates could open. But I think the longer this game can go at 0-0, it will suit Nottingham Forest over Leicester, and they could end up nicking a win, possibly, which would be bad news for Brendan Rodgers. So, with that being said, I've went for Nico Williams as well. So, two of my back four are Nottingham Forest, and the other two are Arsenal players. Now, I'm looking at the two Arsenal boys, and I do not think that we can keep a clean sheet against Tottenham. Just with the firepower they have up front, our back four is it's okay, but I don't think Kulusevski, Son, and Kane can be kept out in this game. So I'd be hoping on those two boys maybe to knock in maybe a goal or an assist. Saliba, 15 points last game week round, so he's capable of maybe getting a goal or assist. We go into the middle of the park, and I went with Raheem Sterling. I think he's been head and shoulders has been Chelsea's best player this season. So I went with Sterling, Pascal Gross. Obviously, that's going to be a difficult game for Brighton at Liverpool. We don't know what kind of Brighton are going to show up now that Potter is gone. I've went with Andres Pereira. Fulham, I think, are in a good position to win this game at home to Newcastle. I think Newcastle's home form has been very good, but I think the away form is where I think they'll come unstuck this season. So going with Pereira there. And then Mo Salah. Obviously, Mo Salah, he hasn't hit the heights that we know that Mo Salah can, but this could be the game where potentially it just gets the ball rolling for him this season. So, whilst I've been tempted at times to draft out Salah, I feel that if I was to get rid of him, he'd start racking up with loads of goals. So, the only person I could possibly change Salah for would be Son or Kevin De Bruyne, and I'm not quite sure on that yet because I'd like to have a Liverpool player in there, and he's my only Liverpool player. Okay, up front, Harry Kane, he always scores against Arsenal, so I think it makes sense to have him there. Gabriel Jesus, there's probably going to be goals in Arsenal and Tottenham. There normally is, so that's what you'd be thinking there with the two strikers. Hard to know what way it's going to go, but then for my captain, I've went with Erling Haaland. Now, on paper, I reckon Manchester United are going to be very drilled in this match, and I think that it's a huge game, not only for City but for Haaland as well, to kind of prove that he can be that big time player. We've seen him doing it in the Champions League against Dortmund a few weeks ago. Can he do it in the Manchester derby at home? This would be a huge statement of intent from City and from Haaland, but I expect a very difficult game for them under Ten Hag. I reckon he's going to have United well drilled, and I think they're going to be difficult to score against. So it would be interesting if City were to get an early goal, maybe two, then the floodgates could open. But I don't know. I can see Manchester United trying to grind out a similar result like they did against Arsenal. They were very good on the counter attack that day, and City have been susceptible to a few goals. So very interesting Super Sunday. On the bench then, Sanchez for Brighton. I cannot see Brighton keeping a clean sheet on Saturday against Liverpool, but who knows? The new manager, new time there, so we'll have to wait and see. Nathan Collins would have been in my team, but obviously he's serving a 3-game ban now for that wonderful kung fu kick on Jack Grealish. And then to finish it out, then I have Reed. Potentially, he has done well for Fulham. So it was a toss up between maybe him and Pereira to have in, because I've went with 3 centre backs. So I'd have to take out one of my strikers to put Reed in, and I'm just not prepared to do that because these three strikers all have goals in them. So Malaysia then, I don't expect Man United to keep a clean sheet, but then again, you just don't know in football. I'd be very surprised if Man City didn't score against them, but I'd also be surprised if United didn't score. I think both teams will score in that game. So that's basically what I am going with this week. And obviously I went with Haaland captain as well, because is he going to be that big time player? Well, we're going to find out on Sunday. So he hasn't really put a foot wrong so far. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna have a quick look at the league table, the upper tier. Okay, so we can see Mark Hogan. He actually told us during the show there the other day that he is number one at the moment on 464 points. It's very, very close still up there. Niall, the man behind the upper tier there, up at 440, very respectable, only 24 off the top, so that's going to be interesting. Stephen English, good friend of mine there, in with a respectable 437. We'll just scroll down to me. Yeah, I'm still in 17th place, which I'm happy about, 405. So I'm very, very happy with that return so far. Okay, we'll see who's bottom. Who is bottom? Larry Cantwell with Barcelona on 42 teams. So everyone is still in it. Nobody has quitted yet so far. So that's good. If we just go into the statistics, which is what we're going to do now. Total points this season. This is something that we haven't looked at so far. Okay, so who we have here, Haaland, I've got him in my team. Kane, I've got him in my team. Ivan Toney, haven't got him. Kevin De Bruyne, William Saliba, I do have. So I've got like 3 out of those 5 are in my team. But this is all going to change definitely over the next few weeks and months. So that's just a kind of an indication to who is getting the points at the moment. You can see there, Haaland, Kane, Toney, De Bruyne, Saliba, Pascal Gross, who I actually have as well, and Cancelo for Manchester City, who's always popping up with goals or assists. So that's what we're looking at the moment. It's still early days, but I reckon with this massive October ahead for the Premier League, I think this, not only is the league table itself going to start fixing itself, if you will, but I think our fantasy league table, that might start to become gaps and bits and pieces like that as well. So, yep. That's pretty much it for game week 9. It's going to be good to have the football back, and I'm going to catch you all next week. Don't forget to subscribe to the Upper Tier Podcast on YouTube. Follow Niall's page. Have a look at the audios and the interviews and different bits and pieces that he's done. So he's doing some great stuff there, and I will catch